It's just eerie, Mike, when you hear this. And I'm wondering how much attention this incident got during that time to help people be on more alert. I don't know, didn't live in that area during that time, but what are you hearing about potentially a suspect who could have escalated? Because thankfully, these victims were able to survive this unharmed.
Right. So first of all, this is a suburban, maybe a rural area. So I don't think home invasions are that common. So whether it got media attention or not, we don't know that. But the victim's reaction to this probably saved their lives. At one point, he got scared and ran away. But again, the similarities are considering the geographic area of the country this is in. It's very unique. So the hope is, and again, all the defense has to do is show reasonable doubt. They need one juror to say, "Come on now, there's just too much." So it's going to be incumbent on law enforcement to really exclude that and make that alibi stick. And who knows if private investigators or somebody else is going to find out that he could possibly be the suspect, and that's all it has to be. He has to possibly be it, and that might take one juror and say, "Look, this is no good."
Bring back in our panel to discuss. We have with us criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Jack Rice, criminal defense and civil attorney John Phillips, and lieutenant and retired commanding officer of the Nassau County K-9 unit Mike Gould is with us as well. Mike, let me start with you. What's the process in going back through a case that is already unsolved, but then you get a new case, and I'm assuming it's not instant, but eventually there are some connections that are made?
Right, Julia. Yeah, so there's remarkable similarities here. One of the things, contrary to popular belief, eyewitness testimony is not as reliable as scientific evidence, photographic evidence, DNA, cell phone. So if they excluded him, I hope they're right, because there's only two possibilities. He was involved, which would help the prosecution, or he wasn't involved, and of course that's going to affect the defense, because now there's a murderer running around there that's not Kohlberg. But I'll defer to the attorneys on the legal minds on that. But from a police standpoint, they've obviously excluded him. But just because he wasn't the right height, I've had witnesses be off by 6 inches on a person's height or weight. So it's not as reliable as people would think.
Mike, this is a situation where they have not, in terms of officials, released the name, identity of the victim in this case. We understand from some reports she's a young woman, and by all accounts, there's no connection between these two. There was no premeditation in terms of the person, that she may have been sleeping when this all started. Can you talk about what the safety measures or security is like in the subway system? We understand that cameras were recently installed in the last 12 months by order of the governor, was it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the subway system is dangerous. You can travel if you're street smart. You have to be you have to have situational awareness. I've been riding the New York City subways since the 1960s, and I've watched the pendulum swing to a point where they were very safe. In the 80s and 90s, they were extremely dangerous. And now it's back again. It's going in that direction. There's an art. You don't go near the edge of the platform. You don't make eye contact with people. You walk on a subway car, you look left and right. And anyone who rides the New York City subways intuitively knows how to commute on these trains. Sometimes you walk in a car and you look around and you back right out of it, because once that train starts moving, and once it comes to it's moving, you're stuck. You're trapped in like a big elevator, and there's commuters, there's tourists, there's mentally ill, emotionally disturbed people, as well as a criminal element, and you're all trapped. You have no ability to fight or flee. And this is analogous to what happened in the Daniel Penny case, I said. So it's dangerous. The cameras, of course, help solving crimes, as we saw in the Mangione case, but they don't necessarily prevent them whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Daniel Penny, because I think incidents like this add to the discussion about his acquittal, of course, for that accusation that he attacked a mentally ill man, that he said that he feared for his life, feared for the safety of other people when he put him in that deadly chokehold.